Your sugar crash hits about 30 minutes after you finish that candy bar. And it's not what you think. Your dopamine just ran out. Ever notice how you can feel completely wired for the first 20 minutes after eating something sweet? Then suddenly you're face down on your desk wondering if anyone would notice if you just closed your eyes for a second? Today, I'll explain why sugar makes you tired like you're 5 years old. By the end, you'll understand what's actually happening in your brain when you crash, and why your body's response isn't trying to help you. It's trying to teach you a lesson. Here's what everyone thinks happens with sugar crashes. You eat sugar, blood sugar spikes. Then it drops too fast and you get tired. That's what your mom said. That's what your doctor says. And that's what the health influencer who drinks celery juice at 5 a.m. won't shut up about. But here's the thing. That's not actually why you're tired. Your cells have plenty of energy to keep going, even when you feel completely drained. Your blood sugar might dip a little, sure, but not enough to make you feel like you just ran a marathon. The real reason you crash has nothing to do with your fuel tank. It has everything to do with your brain's reward system getting hijacked, used, and then dumped on the side of the road. Your brain runs on dopamine, not as fuel, but as motivation. Not as fuel, glucose handles that, but as motivation. Dopamine is the chemical that makes you want things. It's the reason you check your phone every 30 seconds, even though nothing's happened. It's the reason you can't stop scrolling through social media. The reason you keep opening the fridge even though you know nothing new has magically appeared. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical. That's a myth. It's the anticipation chemical. It fires up when your brain thinks something good is about to happen. And sugar is dopamine's best friend, or worst enemy, depending on how you look at it. When you eat something sweet, your brain releases a flood of dopamine. It's fast, it's intense, and it feels amazing to your system. Your brain lights up like a slot machine that just hit 3 cherries. But here's the problem. Your brain isn't stupid at all. It's been around for a few 100,000 years, and it knows the difference between a reward you earned and a reward you cheated to get. When you eat an apple, your brain gets a little dopamine bump. Normal, reasonable. You found food, and your body says, good job. But when you eat a candy bar with 35 grams of sugar packed into a 2-inch wrapper, your brain gets confused about what's happening. That's not a normal amount of sweetness you'd ever find in nature. That doesn't exist anywhere in the wild without human processing. Your brain thinks you just discovered a magical tree that grows pure energy, and it throws a parade. But then, and this is the critical part, your brain realizes what just happened, and that it got tricked. That wasn't a rare, special, life-saving discovery. It was a $1.50 impulse buy at a gas station, and your brain does not appreciate being lied to like that. So it overcorrects and punishes you for the deception. It doesn't just bring dopamine levels back to normal, it drops them way below baseline. It's like your brain is a nightclub bouncer, and dopamine is the crowd. After the sugar rush, the bouncer kicks everyone out, locks the doors, and puts up a sign that says, "Closed for cleaning." And when your dopamine crashes, so does your motivation, your energy, and your ability to care about literally anything. That's the crash you're actually feeling. Not low blood sugar, but low dopamine instead. Think of it like your brain is your bank account, and dopamine is your balance sitting there. Every time you do something your brain considers useful, exercise, finish a task, eat real food, you make a deposit. Small, steady, sustainable. But sugar? Sugar is a payday loan. It gives you a huge chunk of dopamine up front. You feel rich, you feel great, but the interest rate is insane and the bill comes due fast. 30 minutes later, your brain withdraws everything it gave you plus a penalty fee. Now you're in the red. You don't just feel normal, you feel worse than before you ate anything. But wait, it gets worse. Because while your dopamine is tanking, your body is doing something else. It's releasing insulin. Lots of it. Insulin's job is to grab all that sugar out of your bloodstream and shove it into your cells before it causes damage. But insulin doesn't just affect your blood sugar. It also affects tryptophan. Never heard of it? You've definitely felt it. Tryptophan is an amino acid that gets converted into serotonin, which then gets converted into melatonin. You know, the sleep hormone. The one that makes you feel drowsy. When insulin spikes, it clears out a bunch of other amino acids from your blood, but it leaves tryptophan behind. So suddenly your brain has way more tryptophan than usual, which means more serotonin, which means more melatonin. Your brain is literally producing the chemical that makes you want to sleep. You're not imagining it. You're not weak. Your body just dosed itself with sleepy juice because you ate a cookie. So now you've got 2 things happening at once. Your dopamine, your get-up-and-go chemical, is in the basement. And your melatonin, your go-to-sleep chemical, is through the roof. You're not tired because you're out of energy. You're tired because your brain is chemically telling you to shut down, lie down, and stop making decisions until this whole mess gets sorted out. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Your body is trying to protect you from yourself. Now here's the part that makes this even more frustrating. Your brain doesn't forget. Every time you eat sugar and crash, your brain takes notes. It starts associating sugar with that awful post-crash feeling. But it also remembers that initial dopamine spike. So you end up in this weird loop where you crave sugar because your brain remembers the high, but you also feel like garbage after because your brain remembers the crash. You want it, you hate it, you eat it anyway. And then you're mad at yourself for being tired again, wondering why you feel like a sloth in a business casual shirt. This matters because we're surrounded by sugar. It's in your bread, your yogurt, your salad dressing. Food companies know exactly what they're doing. They know sugar triggers dopamine. They know dopamine makes you come back for more. They're not trying to feed you, they're trying to hook you. And it works. The average American eats about 77 grams of sugar a day. That's more than double what health experts recommend. And every single time, your brain goes through the same cycle. Spike, crash, crave, repeat. You're not tired because you're lazy. You're tired because you're biochemically stuck on a roller coaster that doesn't have an off switch. But here's what you can do. You can slow the ride down. You don't have to quit sugar cold turkey. Though if you did, your brain would stop freaking out after about 2 weeks, and you'd feel weirdly amazing. But if that sounds like torture, just pair your sugar with something else. Protein, fat, fiber. Anything that slows down how fast that sugar hits your bloodstream. Apple slices with peanut butter instead of apple juice. Dark chocolate instead of milk chocolate. A handful of almonds with your afternoon snack. When sugar enters your system slowly, your brain doesn't panic. Dopamine goes up a little, insulin goes up a little. Nothing crashes. You just feel fine, which doesn't sound exciting. But compared to feeling like a zombie by 3 p.m., fine is a massive upgrade. The key is giving your body time to process the sugar, instead of hitting it with a tidal wave all at once. Think of it like the difference between sipping a coffee over an hour versus shotgunning an energy drink. Same caffeine, completely different experience. Your brain isn't your enemy. It's just working with outdated software. For most of human history, sugar was rare. Honey, fruit, that's it. Our brains evolved to go absolutely wild when we found it, because it meant survival, calories, energy, life. But now, sugar's everywhere. It's cheap. It's in everything. And your brain still thinks every cookie is a life or death jackpot. It hasn't caught up. To recap, sugar doesn't make you tired because your blood sugar crashes. It makes you tired because your dopamine crashes. Your brain releases a flood of dopamine when you eat sugar, then overcorrects and drops it below baseline. At the same time, insulin spikes and leaves tryptophan behind, which your brain converts into melatonin, the sleep hormone. You're not out of energy, you're chemically sedated by your own body. Food companies pack sugar into everything because it keeps you coming back, and your brain is still running on survival software from 10,000 years ago. So here's the real question. If you know the crash is coming every single time, and you know exactly why it happens, what would it actually take for you to break the cycle?